Eternity is a film within what I'm noticing to be a new rom-com boom as of late. It follows three people, Joan and her two husbands from different points in her life, Luke and Larry, after their deaths, as Joan needs to decide who to spend eternity with, Luke or Larry. The main conceit which the film revolves around is the in-between place between eternities, known as the junction. Although it is what sets the film apart from other afterlife stories, and contains within it a number of sight gags, it is a bit messily handled. Not all of the rules are quite clearly established, and it spent its time re-establishing rules repeatedly. I don't think it's a difficult to understand concept. People get to pick where they end up for eternity after they die, and then, if they try to leave, they end up in a void from which they cannot leave. That's not a spoiler, it's the main draw. So having a lot of time spent on this insistence to repeat information brings the flow of character interactions to brief halts, from which it picks up soon after. It is difficult to approach this part of the discussion. On one hand, it is this concept which makes the film noteworthy in the first place. The larger scoped concept paired with the love triangle rom-com story is a good mix on paper, and in theory. I just believe that the concept could have been handled deftly in a way which doesn't momentarily detract from the characters the story actively works on. But, on the bright side, Elizabeth Olsen shines as Joan. The film is ostensibly about her and Larry, from the first frame off the jump, and the presence of Luke complicates things for the both of them. Nonetheless, the film is mostly Olsen's. Both Miles Teller as Larry and Callum Turner as Luke have things going on, yet neither of them are able to quite keep up with Olsen on either dramatic or a comedic level. I wouldn't call her an especially underrated comic actor. WandaVision in its first two acts was able to highlight this part of her talents, but in a film role, this is likely her at her most funny. As an audience, we are blessed with the endearing and charming side to Olsen, which is given free rein for the first half. That is very much needed. As soon as Olsen as the younger Joan present in the junction appears on screen, the narrative is, resurrected is far too strong of a word for what I felt, saved. No shade on Teller, who is also funny as the grouchy older Larry, put into his younger body and has to carry the brunt of the early stages exposition dumps between him and Divine Joy Randolph. Olsen's performance isn't as hindered by the vast amounts of exposition which is shared like a tennis rally in the latter half of the first act. Hence, the performance is more free from its inception into the story and is untethered throughout. The second half of the film then allows for a more quiet and less joyously explosive comedy. For the audience, the character is still going through it. Eternity is a surprisingly weighty drama, with the love triangle dynamic between the three and the concept of having to exist for eternity with whom she chooses. It's also the second half where the film kind of suffers a little bit. In hindsight, it should have been more obvious to me, but there is a moment where I felt the film wrapping up. It seemed like Larry's character arc, or a version of it, I wasn't expecting so it seemed fresh, was complete. Because Larry is the focus of the first 10-ish minutes, and the arc seemed complete, there was character growth and change. I thought the narrative was winding down to its conclusion, and it didn't. It may be because of the sheer amount of exposition held of the audience in a short time frame, but I felt like I had watched a full film, so I didn't expect it to continue, and it did for a while, which then shifts the perspective onto Olsen's Joan more significantly. I don't know how much of an issue that will be for some people. My nagging feeling dissipated soon after, so it's not too big of a complaint, but it's still noticeable, as it affected the pacing of the film in my eyes. The third act's also a bit clunky. It obviously pays off Chekhov's guns in moderately quick succession, but not all guns are fired. Teased, yes, and the potential firing of them becomes a source of tension, but some things brought up in the exposition stage aren't ever fully paid off, although I get full well that would damper the ending and alter it drastically from what its messaging intends. More of a me issue, I guess. The film is funny. It is, as it needed to be, an entertaining, fun time. And we need more films like this. The review's quite harsh, but I'm not sure how much I can write "the jokes were funny," and critiques, at least this time, have flowed more naturally. I will reiterate, Eternity is amusing. Callum Turner, an actor I am largely indifferent to because I haven't seen nearly enough of his stuff, surprised me with his line delivery, as his more serious-leaning tone, paired with some out-of-pocket phrases, did bring a laugh or two out of me. Teller is consistently amusing, as an old curmudgeon in a younger man's body, and Elizabeth Olsen should be more of a movie star. This is the kind of film she should be doing more of. Yeah, Eternity is good. Solid watch. Eternity. 3 stars. Well, that's all. Keep on watching movies, and form your own opinions. See you in the next one.